Imagine a world where time doesn't hold you back, where your thoughts become reality in the blink of an eye, and where you feel deeply connected to everything around you. This isn't science fiction. It's what happens when you start living in the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension isn't some far-off place or a fantasy land. It's a higher state of being that's within your reach right now. When you tap into this dimension, your whole life changes in ways you never thought possible. You might be thinking, wait a minute, I'm just trying to get through my day-to-day life. How can I possibly live in a higher dimension? Here's the thing. Living in the fifth dimension isn't about doing more or working harder. It's about shifting your awareness and opening yourself up to a whole new way of experiencing life. It's like upgrading your consciousness to a newer, more advanced version. The best part? You don't need any special skills or equipment to make this shift. You don't need to climb a mountain or spend years meditating in a cave. The key to the fifth dimension is already inside you. It's just waiting for you to unlock it. And once you do, get ready for some mind-blowing changes in your life. Think about it. What if you could feel completely at peace, no matter what's happening around you? What if you could tap into an endless well of creativity and inspiration? What if you could understand and communicate with others on a level that goes beyond words? These are just a few of the incredible things that start happening when you live in the fifth dimension. But here's the kicker. Living in the fifth dimension isn't just about making your own life better. As you shift into this higher state of being, you become like a beacon of light for others. Without even trying, you start to lift up the people around you. You become a force for positive change in the world, just by being who you are. So, are you ready to discover what happens when you start living in the fifth dimension? Buckle up, because you're about to embark on the most exciting journey of your life. A journey that will transform you from the inside out and open your eyes to a whole new reality. Now, let's talk about what the fifth dimension really is. To understand this, we need to start with the basics. Most of us are familiar with three dimensions: length, width, and height. These are the dimensions that make up the physical world we can see and touch. Then there's the fourth dimension, which is time. But the fifth dimension? That's where things get really interesting. The fifth dimension is like a higher level of reality. It's a state of being where you're not limited by the usual rules of the physical world or time. In the fifth dimension, everything is connected, and you can experience multiple possibilities all at once. It's like looking at life from a bird's eye view, where you can see all the different paths and choices laid out before you. Think of it this way. In our normal 3D world, we're like characters in a book, moving through the story one page at a time. But in the fifth dimension, we become the author of the book. We can see all the chapters at once, and we have the power to change the story as we go along. Living in the fifth dimension doesn't mean you leave the physical world behind. You're still here, in your body, going about your daily life. But your awareness expands. You start to see beyond the surface of things. You begin to understand the deeper meanings and connections in everything around you. In the fifth dimension, time works differently too. Instead of feeling like time is always rushing by or that there's never enough of it, you start to experience time as more fluid. You might find yourself in a state of flow more often, where you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time seems to stand still. Another big difference in the fifth dimension is how you experience energy. In our usual 3D world, we often feel separate from everything else. But in the fifth dimension, you start to feel the energy that connects all things. You might sense the emotions of others more easily, or feel a stronger connection to nature. It's like you've tuned into a frequency that was always there, but you just couldn't hear before. Living in the fifth dimension also changes how you see yourself. Instead of identifying solely with your physical body and your personal history, you start to recognize yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience. You become more aware of your true essence, the part of you that goes beyond this one lifetime. But here's an important point. Shifting to the fifth dimension isn't about escaping reality or floating off into some mystical realm. It's about bringing that higher awareness into your everyday life. It's about living with one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual world, and finding balance between the two. As you start to live more in the fifth dimension, you might notice that your priorities change. Things that used to seem super important, like getting ahead at work or impressing others, might not matter as much anymore. Instead, you might find yourself more focused on personal growth, on helping others, and on living in alignment with your true purpose. The fifth dimension isn't some far-off place that only a select few can reach. It's a state of being that's available to everyone. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being open to a new way of experiencing life. It's about expanding your awareness and tapping into the incredible potential that's already within you. So, as we continue to explore what happens when you live in the fifth dimension, remember this. You're not learning about some abstract concept. You're uncovering a part of yourself that's always been there, waiting to be awakened. And as you do, you'll start to see the world and yourself in a whole new light. Now that we've talked about what the fifth dimension is, you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm starting to shift into this higher state of being? Well, the good news is that there are some clear signs that show you're on your way to 5D living. Let's dive into these signs, and as we do, think about whether you've experienced any of them in your own life. One of the first things you might notice as you shift to the fifth dimension is that your intuition gets stronger. You know that little voice inside that sometimes tells you what to do? Well, in 5D, that voice gets louder and clearer. You might start to just know things without knowing how you know them. For example, you might think of a friend you haven't talked to in years, and then suddenly they call you out of the blue. Or you might have a strong feeling that you shouldn't take a certain route to work, only to find out later that there was a big accident on that road. These aren't just coincidences. They're signs that you're tapping into the interconnected web of information that exists in the fifth dimension. You might also start to have more vivid dreams, or even experience premonitions. Maybe you dream about an event that then happens in real life, or you get a clear mental image of something before it occurs. These experiences can be a bit freaky at first, but they're actually really exciting signs that your awareness is expanding. Another big sign that you're shifting to the fifth dimension is that you become more sensitive to the energy around you. This can show up in a few different ways. You might start to feel other people's emotions as if they were your own. For instance, you might walk into a room and instantly pick up on the mood, even if nobody said anything. You might also become more sensitive to the energy of places. Have you ever walked into a house and immediately felt uncomfortable for no apparent reason? Or visited a natural spot that made you feel instantly calm and peaceful? That's you picking up on the energy of those places. This increased sensitivity can extend to physical sensations too. You might find that you're more affected by certain foods, or that you can't tolerate alcohol like you used to. Some people even report feeling physical sensations in their body when they're around certain types of energy, like a tingling in their hands or a pressure in their head. At first, this heightened sensitivity can be overwhelming. You might feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, or like you need to avoid certain places or people because their energy is too intense. But as you get used to it, you'll learn to manage these sensations and use them as valuable information about the world around you. Remember how we said that time works differently in the fifth dimension? Well, as you start to shift, you might notice some weird things happening with your perception of time. Sometimes, time might seem to speed up. You might start a task and suddenly realize that hours have passed in what felt like minutes. This often happens when you're doing something you love or something that's in alignment with your true purpose. On the other hand, you might also experience moments where time seems to slow down or even stand still. This often happens during meditation or moments of deep peace and connection. You might feel like you're suspended in a timeless moment, completely present and aware. You might also start to feel less bound by the linear nature of time. Past, present, and future might start to feel more fluid and interconnected. You might have moments of déjà vu, or times when you feel like you're experiencing multiple timelines at once. This can be a bit disorienting at first, but it's actually a sign that you're starting to perceive reality more like it really is, a complex web of possibilities rather than a simple, straight line. As you shift to the fifth dimension, you might notice some changes in your sleep patterns and energy levels. Many people report waking up in the middle of the night, often around 3 or 4 a.m. This time is sometimes called the spiritual hour because the veil between dimensions is thought to be thinner then. If this happens to you, don't worry. You're not becoming an insomniac. Instead of tossing and turning, try sitting up and meditating or just being quiet and open. You might find that these early morning hours become a special time of peace and insight for you. Your energy levels might fluctuate too. Some days, you might feel incredibly energized, like you could conquer the world. Other days, you might feel really tired and need more rest than usual. This is normal as your body and energy field adjust to the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension. Listen to your body and rest when you need to. Another sign that you're shifting to the fifth dimension is a growing desire for authenticity and truth in your life. You might start to feel uncomfortable with any kind of dishonesty, even little white lies. You might find yourself wanting to express your true feelings more, even if it's scary or uncomfortable. This desire for truth extends to the world around you too. You might start questioning things you've always taken for granted. The official narratives about how the world works might not sit right with you anymore. You start to seek out deeper truths and alternative perspectives. This can be challenging, especially if the people around you aren't on the same wavelength. You might feel like you don't fit in with old friend groups anymore, or like you can't relate to the things that most people seem to care about. But don't worry, this is a natural part of the process. As you align more with your true self, you'll attract new people and situations that match your new energy. As you shift to the fifth dimension, you might start noticing more synchronicities in your life. Synchronicities are meaningful coincidences or events that seem to be connected in a significant way, even though there's no apparent cause and effect relationship. For example, you might be thinking about a specific animal and then see images of that animal everywhere you go. Or you might keep seeing the same number sequence, like 111 or 444, over and over again. These synchronicities are like little winks from the universe, letting you know you're on the right track. In the fifth dimension, these synchronicities become more frequent and more meaningful. You might start to see patterns and connections everywhere you look. It's like the universe is constantly sending you messages and guideposts, helping you navigate your path. Perhaps one of the most profound signs that you're shifting to the fifth dimension is a growing sense of oneness with everything around you. You start to feel less like a separate individual and more like a part of a greater whole. This might show up as a deeper connection to nature. You might find yourself wanting to spend more time outdoors, feeling a strong bond with plants and animals. You might even start to feel the Earth's energy more strongly, sensing changes in the weather or feeling affected by things like solar flares. You might also feel a stronger connection to other people, even strangers. You might start to see past the surface differences that usually divide us and recognize the common humanity in everyone. This doesn't mean you'll suddenly love everyone or that conflicts disappear, but you might find yourself becoming more compassionate and understanding, even towards people you disagree with. This sense of oneness extends to the entire universe. You might have moments where you feel connected to everything, the stars, the planets, all of existence. It's a profound and often overwhelming feeling, but it's also incredibly beautiful and peaceful. As you shift to the fifth dimension, your body and emotions go through a kind of detox process. Old, low-vibration energies need to be cleared out to make room for the higher frequencies of 5D living. This can sometimes be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary part of the process. On a physical level, you might experience flu-like symptoms, headaches, or digestive issues. Your body might crave different foods, often lighter and more natural options. You might find that you can't tolerate heavy or processed foods like you used to. Emotionally, you might find old issues or traumas coming up to be healed. You might have mood swings or periods of unexplained sadness or anger. This isn't a step backwards, it's actually a sign of progress. These old energies are coming up so they can be released, making room for more light and positive energy in your life. As you shift to the fifth dimension, you might find that your sense of purpose in life changes. Things that used to be important to you, like achieving a certain career status or acquiring material possessions, might start to feel less meaningful. Instead, you might feel called to help others, to create, or to make a positive difference in the world. You might also start to feel a stronger connection to your life's mission or soul purpose. This isn't usually something dramatic like saving the world, although it could be. More often, It's a quiet but persistent feeling of knowing what you're here to do. It might be as simple as spreading kindness, creating beauty, or helping others in some specific way. This new sense of purpose often comes with a feeling of excitement and anticipation. Even if you're not sure exactly what your purpose is yet, you might feel like you're on the verge of something big and important. Trust this feeling. It's your higher self guiding you towards your true path. Finally, one of the most significant signs that you're shifting to the fifth dimension is an overall expansion of your awareness and consciousness. You might find that you're able to see things from multiple perspectives at once. You might have moments of profound insight or understanding about yourself or the nature of reality. This expanded awareness often comes with a sense of detachment from drama and negativity. You might find that things that used to upset you don't bother you as much anymore. You're able to step back and see the bigger picture, understanding that everything is part of a larger process of growth and evolution. You might also start to be more aware of the power of your thoughts and emotions. You realize that you're not just passively experiencing life, but actively creating your reality through your beliefs and focus. This can be both exciting and a bit scary. It's a big responsibility, but it's also incredibly empowering. As your consciousness expands, you might start to have experiences that don't fit into the usual understanding of reality. You might have vivid visions, out-of-body experiences, or encounters with beings or energies from other dimensions. While these experiences can be intense, try to approach them with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. Remember, everyone's journey to the fifth dimension is unique. You might experience some of these signs strongly, and others not at all. You might go through phases where you feel very 5D, and other times where you feel like you've slipped back into 3D living. This is all normal and part of the process. The key is to stay open, curious, and compassionate with yourself as you go through this transformation. Pay attention to the signs and trust your own experiences. You're embarking on an incredible journey of growth and expansion. Enjoy the ride. Changes in perception. When you start living in the fifth dimension, one of the most noticeable shifts is in how you perceive the world around you. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly allows you to see everything in high definition. Colors might seem brighter, sounds clearer, and your overall sensory experience more vivid and alive. In the fifth dimension, your perception of time and space starts to shift in some pretty mind-bending ways. Let's start with time. You know how sometimes an hour can feel like a minute, and other times a minute can feel like an hour? Well, in 5D living, this becomes your new normal. Time starts to feel more fluid and flexible. You might find yourself slipping into what some people call no time, a state where you're so present in the moment that time seems to stand still. This often happens during meditation, creative activities, or moments of deep connection with others. It's like you've stepped outside the usual flow of time and are experiencing reality from a different vantage point. On the flip side, you might also have moments where time seems to speed up dramatically. You might start a project and suddenly realize hours have passed in what felt like minutes. This often happens when you're doing something you love or something that's in alignment with your true purpose. Your perception of space changes too. You might start to feel like the boundaries between you and the world around you are less solid. Some people describe this as feeling more expanded, like your consciousness extends beyond your physical body. You might find it easier to sense the energy of places and objects, almost as if you can feel the space around you. This shift in how you perceive space can lead to some interesting experiences. You might find that you're more aware of the empty space in a room than the objects in it. Or you might start to notice the space between your thoughts, a kind of mental stillness that you hadn't been aware of before. Another big change in perception when you're living in the fifth dimension is how you see yourself and others. The boundaries between me and not me start to blur. You begin to recognize that at a deeper level, we're all connected. This doesn't mean you lose your sense of individuality. Instead, it's like you become aware of two truths at once. You are a unique individual, and you are also part of a greater whole. It's a bit like being a wave in the ocean. You have your own distinct form and movement, but you're also inseparable from the ocean itself. This shift in perception can dramatically change your relationships with others. You start to see past the surface level differences that often divide people. Instead of just seeing someone's age, race, or social status, you perceive their essence, the spark of consciousness that's the same in all of us. This doesn't mean you'll suddenly love everyone or that conflicts disappear, but you might find that you become more compassionate and understanding even towards people you disagree with. You can see the common humanity in everyone, even while acknowledging differences in beliefs or behaviors. You might also start to perceive others more intuitively. You might find that you can sense what someone is feeling without them saying a word, or that you know what someone is going to say before they say it. This isn't about reading minds. It's more like tuning into the energy field that connects all of us. Perhaps one of the most profound changes in perception when living in the fifth dimension is how you understand reality itself. You start to recognize that what we usually think of as reality is just one possible version of events filtered through our beliefs, expectations, and limited physical senses. In the fifth dimension, you become more aware of the role your consciousness plays in shaping your experience of reality. You might start to notice how your thoughts and beliefs directly influence what shows up in your life. It's not that you can magically make anything happen just by thinking about it, but you do start to see a clearer connection between your inner world and your outer experiences. This shift can be both liberating and challenging. On one hand, it's empowering to realize that you have more influence over your reality than you might have thought. On the other hand, it also means taking more responsibility for your life experiences. You might also start to perceive multiple possibilities or potential timelines. Instead of seeing your life as a single, fixed path, you might become aware of the many different directions your life could take based on your choices and focus. This can make decision-making both more complex and more exciting. You're more aware of the potential ripple effects of your choices. Another aspect of this shift is that you become more aware of the illusory nature of many things we usually take for granted. The solid, physical world starts to seem more like a hologram or a shared dream. This doesn't mean you stop engaging with the physical world or fulfilling your responsibilities, but you might hold it all more lightly, with a sense that there's more going on than meets the eye. You might also become more aware of the stories and narratives that shape our collective reality. You start to see how beliefs and assumptions that we rarely question actually create the framework of our shared world. This can lead to a kind of waking up process where you start to question and potentially step outside of limiting collective beliefs. All these changes in perception can be pretty mind-bending at first. You might have moments where you feel a bit disoriented, like you're not sure what's real anymore. This is totally normal. Remember, you're shifting to a broader, more expansive way of perceiving reality. It takes time to adjust. The key is to stay grounded while you're going through these shifts. Spend time in nature, take care of your physical body, and maintain connections with supportive people. And most importantly, approach these changes with a sense of curiosity and wonder. You're exploring new territories of consciousness. Enjoy the journey. As you shift into fifth-dimensional living, you might find yourself developing abilities and having experiences that seem almost supernatural. These aren't really superpowers. They're natural abilities that we all have, but that often remain dormant in 3D consciousness. Let's explore some of these new abilities and experiences. One of the first new abilities you might notice is a significant boost in your intuition. Intuition is that gut feeling or inner knowing that often guides us in life. In 5D living, this inner guidance system becomes much stronger and clearer. You might start to just know things without knowing how you know them. For example, you might have a strong feeling about which job to take or which path to follow without any logical reason. As you learn to trust and follow these intuitive nudges, you'll likely find that they lead you to exactly where you need to be. This heightened intuition can show up in your relationships too. You might find that you can sense what someone is feeling or thinking, even if they're trying to hide it. You might know when someone needs your help before they ask for it. This doesn't mean you can read minds. It's more like you're tuning into the energy field that we all share. Your intuition might also guide you in more practical matters. You might get a sudden urge to take a different route to work, only to find out later that your usual route was blocked by an accident. Or you might feel compelled to call an old friend, only to discover they were just thinking about you and really needed to talk. As your intuition strengthens, you might also start to receive guidance in the form of signs and symbols. You might notice certain numbers appearing repeatedly or keep seeing a particular animal or symbol. These synchronicities are like little winks from the universe, confirming that you're on the right path. Learning to trust and follow your intuition can be a bit scary at first, especially if you're used to making decisions based purely on logic. But as you practice, you'll likely find that your intuition becomes one of your most valuable tools for navigating life in the fifth dimension. Another fascinating ability that often develops with 5D living is a form of telepathic communication. Now, this doesn't mean you'll suddenly be able to hear everyone's thoughts, thank goodness. It's usually more subtle than that. You might find that you often know what someone is going to say before they say it. Or you might think of someone and then immediately receive a call or message from them. You might even start to communicate with animals or plants on a more intuitive level. This telepathic ability often shows up first with people you're close to. You might find that you and your partner or best friend start finishing each other's sentences more often, or that you can sense when they're upset even if you're not in the same place. As this ability develops, you might start to pick up on the thoughts or feelings of people around you, even strangers. This can be overwhelming at first. You might feel like you're being bombarded with information, but with practice, you'll learn to manage this ability, tuning in when it's helpful and tuning out when you need to. Telepathic communication in the fifth dimension isn't just about words or specific thoughts. It's often more about energy and intention. You might find that you can send feelings of love or support to someone from a distance, or that you can sense when someone is thinking about you. This ability can greatly enhance your relationships and your ability to connect with others. It can lead to deeper understanding and empathy, but it's important to remember to respect others' privacy and boundaries. Just because you can sense someone's thoughts or feelings doesn't always mean you should act on that information. Living in the fifth dimension often brings an increased awareness of energy, both your own energy and the energy around you. This awareness can develop into the ability to consciously work with and manipulate energy. You might find that you become more sensitive to the energy of places and objects. You might walk into a room and immediately sense the mood, or pick up on residual energy from past events. You might also become more aware of your own energy field, sensing when it's strong and clear or when it needs some attention. As this awareness grows, you might discover that you have the ability to influence energy. This could manifest as a healing ability. You might find that your touch or even your presence has a soothing effect on others. You might be drawn to energy healing modalities like Reiki, or discover that you can clear negative energy from spaces. You might also develop the ability to consciously direct energy for manifestation. This isn't about magically making things appear out of thin air. It's more about learning to align your energy with what you want to create in your life. You might find that when you focus your energy and intention on a goal, opportunities seem to appear more easily. Working with energy in this way requires practice and responsibility. It's important to remember that everything is energy and that your thoughts and emotions have a real impact on the world around you. This realization can lead to a greater sense of responsibility for your own energy and how it affects others. As you become more attuned to the fifth dimension, you might start to have experiences that go beyond the physical body. One of these is astral projection or out-of-body experiences, OBs. During an OB, you might feel like your consciousness has separated from your physical body. You might find yourself floating above your body or traveling to other locations. Some people report visiting other planets or dimensions during these experiences. These experiences often happen spontaneously at first, usually during sleep or deep meditation. You might wake up with a vivid memory of having traveled somewhere, or you might become aware in the middle of the experience that you're outside your body. As you become more comfortable with these experiences, you might learn to induce them intentionally. This can open up whole new realms of exploration and learning. Some people use astral projection to gain spiritual insights, to understand the nature of reality, or even to gather information about distant places. It's important to approach these experiences with a balance of openness and discernment. While they can be incredibly profound and insightful, it's also possible to encounter confusing or challenging situations. Grounding practices and a strong sense of your own energy are crucial when exploring these states. Living in the fifth dimension often brings a significant boost to your creative abilities and problem-solving skills. This is partly because you're able to access more of your brain's potential, and partly because you're more tuned into the universal field of consciousness where all ideas exist. You might find that creative ideas flow more easily, whether you're an artist, writer, musician, or working in any field that requires innovation. You might wake up with fully formed ideas for projects, or find solutions to problems popping into your mind seemingly out of nowhere. This enhanced creativity isn't just about artistic expression. It can help you in all areas of life, from finding innovative solutions at work to coming up with new ways to approach relationships or personal growth. Your problem-solving abilities might seem almost magical at times. You might find that you can see connections and patterns that others miss, or that you can quickly get to the heart of complex issues. This is partly because you're able to step back and see the bigger picture more easily in 5D consciousness. You might also find that you're able to access information or skills that you haven't consciously learned. This phenomenon, sometimes called downloading information, can feel like suddenly knowing something you didn't know before. It's as if you're tapping into a universal database of knowledge. These new abilities and experiences can be exciting and even mind-blowing at times. But it's important to remember that they're not the point of fifth-dimensional living. They're more like side effects of your expanding consciousness. The real goal is to live with greater awareness, love, and connection to all that is. As you explore these new abilities, approach them with a sense of playfulness and curiosity. Don't put pressure on yourself to develop specific abilities or have certain experiences. Everyone's journey in the fifth dimension is unique. Trust that you'll develop exactly what you need for your own growth and purpose. Also, remember to stay grounded as you explore these new realms of experience. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of these abilities and lose touch with everyday reality. Make sure to take care of your physical body, maintain your relationships, and fulfill your responsibilities in the 3D world. Finally, as you develop these abilities, consider how you can use them in service of others and the planet. In fifth-dimensional living, we recognize that we're all connected. Using your gifts to help others and contribute to the greater good becomes a natural expression of who you are. Challenges of 5D living. While living in the fifth dimension brings many incredible experiences and opportunities for growth, it's not without its challenges. As you shift into this higher state of consciousness, you may encounter some difficulties. Let's explore these challenges and how to navigate them. One of the biggest challenges of 5D living is maintaining your expanded awareness while still functioning in the 3D world. It's like you're straddling two different realities, and sometimes it can feel a bit disorienting. You might find yourself feeling frustrated with the slower pace and denser energy of the 3D world. Simple tasks like running errands or dealing with bureaucracy might suddenly feel tedious or draining. You might feel impatient with the limitations and rules of the physical world, longing for the freedom and flow of 5D consciousness. At work, you might struggle to stay focused on tasks that now seem trivial or meaningless in the grand scheme of things. You might find it challenging to engage in small talk or office politics when you're aware of deeper truths and connections. In your personal life, you might feel out of sync with friends or family members who aren't experiencing the same shift in consciousness. Conversations about material concerns or day-to-day dramas might leave you feeling disconnected or misunderstood. The key to navigating this challenge is to find balance. Remember that you're here to bring 5D consciousness into the 3D world, not to escape from it entirely. Try to see your daily life as an opportunity to practice presence and to infuse higher awareness into everyday situations. It can help to create regular times for meditation or other spiritual practices where you can fully immerse yourself in 5D consciousness. Then, when you return to your daily activities, you can bring that higher awareness with you, like a light illuminating the 3D world. As you shift into 5D living, you might find that others don't always understand what you're going through. Your perspective on life might change dramatically, and this can sometimes create distance between you and those who are still firmly rooted in 3D consciousness. You might try to share your experiences or insights, only to be met with skepticism, confusion, or even ridicule. Family members might worry that you're becoming weird or out there. Friends might not understand why you're no longer interested in activities or conversations that used to engage you. This can be particularly challenging if your spiritual awakening leads you to make significant life changes. You might feel called to change careers, in certain relationships, or adopt new lifestyle habits. These changes might not make sense to others who don't share your expanded perspective. It's important to remember that everyone is on their own journey, and not everyone will resonate with or understand your experiences. Try not to take others' reactions personally. Instead, practice compassion and understanding, remembering that you too were once unaware of these deeper realities. At the same time, it's okay to set boundaries and to seek out people who do understand and support your journey. You might find yourself naturally gravitating towards new friends or communities who share your interest in spirituality and personal growth. As you open up to 5D consciousness, you might find that you become much more sensitive to energies around you. This increased sensitivity can be both a gift and a challenge. You might find that you're more affected by the moods and emotions of others, picking up on their feelings as if they were your own. Crowded places might become overwhelming as you sense the swirl of energies around you. You might become more sensitive to certain foods, sounds, or environmental factors. This heightened sensitivity can also extend to global events and collective energies. You might find that you're deeply affected by news of world events, feeling the pain and suffering of others more acutely. While this sensitivity allows you to connect more deeply with others and the world around you, it can also be draining if you don't learn to manage it. It's crucial to develop practices for grounding and protecting your energy. This might include spending time in nature, practicing energy clearing techniques, or creating a peaceful sanctuary in your home where you can retreat and recharge. You might also need to be more mindful about what you expose yourself to, limiting time spent watching news or engaging with negative social media. As you start to experience the expanded awareness and abilities of 5D living, there's a risk of falling into spiritual ego. This is when you start to feel superior to others who aren't as awakened, or when you use spiritual concepts to avoid dealing with real-life issues. You might find yourself judging others for being less evolved, or feeling frustrated with the unconsciousness of the world around you. You might be tempted to use your spiritual insights as a way to bypass dealing with practical problems or emotional challenges. It's important to remember that true spiritual growth involves humility and compassion. Everyone is on their own path, and being further along in your spiritual journey doesn't make you better than anyone else. It simply means you have a responsibility to bring more light and love into the world. Be wary of using spiritual concepts to avoid dealing with real-world issues or emotions. While it's true that at the highest level, everything is perfect and there are no problems, we're still living in a physical world where our actions have consequences. True 5D living involves being fully present and engaged with life, not escaping from it. As you shift into 5D consciousness, you might go through periods of physical and emotional detox. This is your body and energy field clearing out lower vibrations to make room for higher frequencies. Physically, you might experience flu-like symptoms, headaches, digestive issues, or unexplained aches and pains. You might find that your sleep patterns change, or that you need more rest than usual. Emotionally, you might find old traumas or unresolved issues coming to the surface to be healed. You might experience mood swings, unexpected bursts of emotion, or periods of anxiety or depression. While these detox symptoms can be uncomfortable, they're actually a sign of progress. Your system is clearing out old, stagnant energies to make way for the new. It's important to be gentle with yourself during these times. Rest when you need to, eat nourishing foods, and seek support if you're dealing with intense emotions. As you navigate the challenges and joys of 5D living, it's important to develop practices that support your growth and help you maintain your expanded awareness. Here are some ways to nurture your 5D self. One of the most powerful tools for 5D living is a regular meditation practice. Meditation helps you quiet the chatter of your 3D mind and tune into the expansive awareness of your 5D self. You don't need to meditate for hours every day to benefit. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of quiet reflection or mindfulness can help you stay centered and connected to your higher awareness. There are many different types of meditation you can explore. Some people prefer silent sitting meditation, while others enjoy guided visualizations or movement-based practices like yoga or qigong. Experiment to find what works best for you. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, is another powerful tool for 5D living. Try to bring mindful awareness to your daily activities, whether you're eating, walking, or interacting with others. This helps you stay grounded in the present moment while maintaining your connection to higher consciousness. Spending time in nature is one of the best ways to nurture your 5D self. Nature operates at a higher frequency and can help you attune to the rhythms of the natural world. Try to spend time outdoors every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Walk barefoot on the grass, sit under a tree, or simply gaze at the sky. Pay attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. You might find that you start to communicate with nature in a more direct way. You might sense the energy of plants or trees, or receive intuitive messages from animals you encounter. Be open to these experiences and trust your inner guidance. As you become more sensitive to energies, it's important to learn techniques for managing and clearing your own energy field. This might include practices like Reiki, acupuncture, or other energy healing modalities. Even simple practices like taking salt baths, using crystals, or practicing visualization techniques to clear your aura can be very effective. Pay attention to what works for you and make these practices a regular part of your self-care routine. Physical self-care is also crucial. Your body is adjusting to higher frequencies, and it needs support. Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating nourishing foods, and engaging in gentle exercise. Listen to your body's needs. They might change as you shift into 5D living. Surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded people can greatly enhance your 5D journey. Seek out friends or communities who understand and support your spiritual growth. This doesn't mean you need to cut ties with everyone who doesn't share your perspective, but it's important to have at least a few people in your life who get it and can relate to your experiences. Consider joining spiritual groups, attending workshops or retreats, or connecting with others online who are on a similar path. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can be incredibly validating and supportive. Writing about your experiences can be a powerful way to process and integrate your 5D insights. Keep a journal where you can record your dreams, intuitive messages, and spiritual experiences. Creative expression in any form, whether it's art, music, dance, or writing, can also help you channel and express your 5D awareness. Don't worry about creating something good. The important thing is to let your creativity flow freely. Cultivating an attitude of gratitude is a simple but powerful way to raise your vibration and stay connected to 5D consciousness. Try to appreciate the small moments of beauty and joy in your daily life. Focus on what's going well and what you want to create more of in your life. Remember, in 5D consciousness, your thoughts and feelings have a direct impact on your reality. By maintaining a positive focus, you're actively co-creating a more positive experience. As your intuition strengthens, practice trusting and acting on your inner guidance. Start with small things, like choosing which route to take to work or deciding what to eat for lunch based on your intuitive feelings. As you build trust in your intuition, you'll find it easier to rely on this inner wisdom for bigger life decisions. Remember, your intuition is your direct line to your higher self and the universal wisdom of 5D consciousness. Living in the fifth dimension is a profound journey of awakening and transformation. It's a process of expanding your awareness beyond the limitations of the physical world and recognizing the deeper truths of existence. As you shift into this higher state of consciousness, you'll likely experience a wide range of changes, from how you perceive reality to the development of new abilities and a deeper sense of connection to all of life. Remember, this journey is not about escaping the 3D world, but about bringing higher awareness into your everyday life. It's about learning to navigate between different levels of consciousness, integrating your spiritual insights with your practical, earthly existence. The challenges you may face, like balancing 5D awareness in a 3D world, managing increased sensitivity, or dealing with misunderstandings from others, are all part of the growth process. They provide opportunities for you to deepen your understanding, practice compassion, and strengthen your connection to your higher self. As you continue on this path, be patient and gentle with yourself. Everyone's journey is unique, and there's no right way to experience 5D living. Trust in your own process and know that you're exactly where you need to be. Nurture your 5D self through regular spiritual practices, connection with nature, supportive relationships, and self-care. Stay open to the wonder and magic of life, but also stay grounded and engaged with the world around you. Living in the fifth dimension is ultimately about embodying higher consciousness in your daily life. It's about bringing more love, compassion, and awareness into the world. As you do this, you become a beacon of light, inspiring others and contributing to the collective evolution of consciousness on our planet. Remember, you are a powerful co-creator of your reality. As you align with 5D consciousness, you have the ability to shape your life and contribute to positive change in the world in ways you might never have imagined. Embrace this journey with an open heart and a sense of adventure. The shift to 5D living is not just a personal transformation. It's part of a greater awakening happening on our planet. By doing this inner work and raising your own vibration, you're playing a crucial role in this global shift. So, as you continue to explore and expand into 5D living, stay curious, stay open, and above all, trust in the unfolding of your own unique journey. The adventure of living in the fifth dimension is just beginning, and the possibilities are truly infinite.